of this hour. I want to welcome him into our midst, our former producer. So the history is that Albert was the producer, and then John was the producer, and then Albert returned. And this is kind of cool that we've got the whole gang back together. How about it for John Daly, everybody? Come on, John Daly.
Yeah. Hey.
John left for a job that has benefits and is a real job. This is sort of a side hustle.
One minor correction. Former executive producer, KG.
That's right. I'm sorry. That is, he is
how easily we forget.
Yes.
There's never been anything like this.
It really hasn't. It really hasn't.
It took a lot to get that title.
How are things on... How are things on the outside, John? You want to give us just a quick second?
It's good. One awkward thing. I can't find my balloon. And I'm wondering if anybody's seen it. I'm working on a mapping project.
Oh, my God. Yes.
We could try ignoring it, sir.
Yeah.
I'm mapping various grocery stores. And I'm a little concerned.
Love to shoot stuff down, John. Welcome to America. We shoot each other and we shoot stuff out of the sky. As long as we're shooting, we're happy. All right. Well, we're here on Fridays as we collect the news of the week. We turn to a state that seldom disappoints in terms of the awkward, the lawless, and, might I say, the dim-witted. This is Friday Fabulous Florida.
It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
Hang on tight. And I'll remind you, we need to choose a favorite at the end, so please pay attention. A Florida man doing donuts in his car at an intersection hits a patrol car before crashing his own car, which is really, yes, I agree. That's
well, if you get him in order.
So you first do the donut, then you hit the patrol car, and then you crash your own car.
Yeah, you can't hit the patrol car first.
No, that is the...
if you get it in order, you get extra points.
This is West Melbourne, Florida. This guy, Jared Gordon Heffler, who you saw there for a second, he's 25 years old. There he is. Driving recklessly south on Hollywood Boulevard in West Melbourne. He drove over a raised median, causing his car to slide. The officer observed Heffler driving at a high rate of speed, and he then began doing donuts at an intersection. Heffler appeared to pull over when the officer conducted a traffic stop, but then put his car in reverse, striking the patrol car and fleeing the scene. Wow.
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
Well, if you can get away, you can get away.
And the police didn't shoot him? Wow, I wonder why.
Let's see. If you look at his picture, you can see why the cops may not have shot him. By the way, Johnny's a little hot, I think. Maybe you can turn him down a little bit.
I turn myself down.
He eventually lost control of his car, the dude did, and crashed, and he was taken into custody. But he to review, does the donut, pulls over as though he goes, oh, you got me. I shouldn't have been doing that. Then he throws his car in reverse, slams the patrol car, and then takes off like it's Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, it sounds like an audition for a TV show.
Yeah, he's arrested on a bunch of stuff, fleeing, reckless driving with property damage, and so on. A Florida man fights off a bobcat to save his dog. That's pretty impressive. This is in Orlando, Florida. Yeah. Paul Broadhurst is his name. He's walking his daughter's dog, Coda, and the bobcat saw Coda and jumped Coda. Broadhurst then jumped the bobcat and saved the daughter's dog. He said he didn't think about the scratch. You can see the scratch there if you're watching on YouTube that resulted. I mean, bobcats have huge claws as well. And he said when homes get built in wild areas, you're going to see more of this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Florida people Floridians just might be the people who could properly defend their animals a little more. They're just complete wild cards. They have machetes on them.
You're right. They're oddly well equipped to handle whatever situation.
They're ready
arise.
for the alligator. They've been prepping for this. You're right, Albert.
Yeah. In fact, this might have been like a, kind of a nickel dime situation to them. This is not, Bobcat is like, okay, I got this one. Right. Florida man on the most wanted list is apprehended after a foot chase. This is in Tampa. He was on the top 10 most wanted list. Of course, he's been captured, so I say
well, that's mostly people from Tampa.
They've got more than one, I'm guessing. Deputies were called Thursday night to a home in Port Charlotte in search of 25-year-old Stechuan Wright. He was wanted for violating the terms of his probation following a domestic battery strangulation charge. So it's not, pretty serious. Deputies spoke with Wright's girlfriend, who answered the front door. And when they did, who did they see behind her? Just out of the immediate gaze, they saw Wright himself. He was in the back of the house. Another deputy then approached from the rear of the home, and they called Wright by name. That's when Wright called back to them and said, "I'm not going back."
Uh-oh.
And
this sounds like a TV show, too.
Yeah. He attempted to run.
I'm not going back. It's not
never
what you
go
want
back
hear.
to that place.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
It's good. That's right. I'm a good guy.
No.
No, you're right. So, anyway, a foot traffic, what do you call that? A foot pursuit?
No.
Yeah, okay. I just look. A foot chase ensued.
Yeah.
And you ended up with the cops apprehending him. And Wright was charged with battery, violation of probation, resisting an officer. And he's currently being held at the Charlotte County Jail. Where is that Charlotte County Jail, John? I feel like you know where that is.
I think it's right by the shopping center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
With the Whole Foods in the corner next to the Publix.
Yeah.
But he's now off the most wanted list because he's on the captured
where's
list.
Casey?
That's right. Where's Casey? Oh, they got
falling off the
this to me
chart
all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for.
after a long run.
Yeah. He spent 8 months on the top of the most wanted list until he ran out of the lanai and was caught by cops. A Florida alligator climbs a parking lot fence to get back to a pond. We have a picture of it here. They put up these fences to keep the alligators in, to keep the alligators from getting to whatever areas. But there are 1 million alligators in Florida. But you can see the alligator, this is a huge alligator, climbs the fence and gets into this parking lot. It's the Everglades Tour Company parking lot. And
it's never easy in this business.
And you can imagine.
Look at him go.
This is no picnic, no summer camp.
No, it's true. There's actually video.
There's the video, yeah.
We're showing you video of the gator
Those
as
peacocks
it
should
walks.
be careful.
Yeah, it's true. There are peacocks. There's a gator. The gator's
Gator food.
Yeah, there's
gator
peacocks and a
tail.
human chasing after this gator.
Yeah, there's a lot of food.
Yeah, I'm more
potential.
concerned about the human. You're right.
Yeah. Anyway, you see that despite the fence, the gator is pretty committed to breaching the perimeter, which he did.
You might want to put in like a
she did.
one-way alligator door.
No,
Yeah,
they're not supposed to go to the parking lot. They're supposed to stay in the pond area, right?
Well, that's what I mean, like a one-way door.
Look at him go. Look at that. That's amazing.
There's never been anything like this.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive.
Oh,
climbs the if you watch us on YouTube, we just showed you he climbs the fence or she climbs the fence and then makes
next
it back
time,
over.
Next time she's just gonna go right through it.
Yeah.
Wow. I love the pictures of the alligators.
Yeah, the gators. If you like gators, you'll love Friday Fabulous Florida. They often show up. A Florida man has been arrested in Houston County. That's in Alabama. But he is, I believe he's from, he was involved with a manhunt that was involving several law enforcement agencies from Florida, if you're wondering how the Florida connection works. Investigators said Ernest Jett Jr. opened fire around a campsite. It was near Campbellton, Florida. He'll be charged with, he was arrested after this manhunt, and again, it took them all the way to Alabama to find him. But he opened fire on a well-known veterinarian who was wounded with the gunfire.
And the police did not shoot and kill him either.
The horse trainers, is what they were conducting bird hunting field trials, and they were camping near his property. Now, he got out there with a gun, and he began firing into the camp and striking campers and horse trailers, and, as it turns out, people.
Oh.
Dr. Susan Wells, she's the noted veterinarian, was hit in the leg. And Ernest Jett jetted, and finally, investigators found him in Alabama.
Is that just because he didn't want the people near his property or on his property? Is that what happened there?
I mean, I'm guessing that's the reason.
Well, that is a reasonable response.
Yeah.
For Florida, anyway.
I would say that, he maybe should have thought another way to communicate that, though.
What he's got going here is a situation.
Maybe they got too close to his meth trailer.
That is true. You might have been concerned with, there he is. He's, I think any number of violations I would put into his wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Yeah. But,
My bad. I'm sorry.
a bank customer is arrested after allegedly pounding the ATM with a hammer.
It's a wild idea, but it just might work.
Or not.
That's a bad day.
He couldn't. Well, this is what happened with this guy is something that some people will be able to relate to. He couldn't get his card back. You know when it eats your card?
Yeah.
Employees of Bank of America, they're at 401 North 14th Street. They heard loud noises and yelling outside of the bank. This is a few minutes before 9 a.m., okay? So it didn't happen overnight or anything.
That's not fake. That's real.
They looked out the
machine ate
window.
Somebody's card again, Bob.
They saw a man yelling at the ATM and rocking it back and forth.
Oh, no.
Demanding in a loud voice that the machine give his card back. The man went to the back of a white pickup truck and retrieved a hammer. He then started beating the ATM with that hammer.
No, sir. No.
Then he drove away. Cops arrived shortly after a 911 call. Damage to the ATM was assessed. What was the damage to the ATM? This is great. In the chat, tell me what you think the damage they said was to the ATM that was attacked by the guy in Florida with a hammer. What was the damage that they assessed it to be? They estimated the damage to the ATM. 2,000 from Wes.
11,750, which is one more than we have.
Well, these machines are made by Diebold, a lot of them.
That's
expensive.
right. Sure. 40,000. John takes the 200,000 now. That's a little high. 10 says Julie. 30. Are you doing it, Kim? You go ahead and do it. Put them up there if you want. I see Tom around 3K, 2,700. 5,000 says Gail. The damage to the ATM in Florida, where a guy was arrested. 4,500 says Randy. The actual retail price for damaging an ATM machine with a hammer, estimated to be $3,000, everyone. If you guessed 3,000. Nice job.
Imagine the fee he's going to have on his statement.
That is the damaging ATM fee is a very high fee. That's a really good point. That, my friends, concludes this edition of Friday Fabulous Florida.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now, here.
I know it's like picking between children. You know, you can't choose a favorite, but you must. You must choose a favorite. In Friday Fabulous Florida, we ask you to choose the one that spoke to you, that you feel is most Florida. But before you choose, let me remind you of some of the stories that we have featured. Florida man doing the donuts at the intersection. He smashes his car back and then runs from the cops. Ultimately crashes and is apprehended.
That's strong.
The Florida man fighting off a bobcat to save his dog. A Florida man on the most wanted list is now off the most wanted list because he was apprehended after a foot chase. A Florida man arrested after a manhunt that took investigators to Alabama. He opened fire on a group of horse trainers. An alligator easily climbing a parking lot fence to get back to the pond that he wanted to hang out in through a parking area. That contained the video, of course, the video proof. And a bank customer arrested after allegedly pounding an ATM with a hammer. You can enter your favorite into the chat. If you're watching in replay, please enter your comment in replay as we do review these comments. And the Mark Thompson Board of Governors, they meet. And over the weekend, they actually look at the Friday Fabulous.
Voting is open until 11 a.m. Pacific.
And exactly. So, and in fact, on the weekend, on Friday Fabulous Florida, the comments are actually reviewed through the weekend. So the Board of Governors will be active. But now we ask those who are present. Kim, I ask you, what's your favorite?
I can't not. I have to. It must be the alligator.
Oh, the alligator, a fine choice. Former executive producer John Daly, what was your favorite?
I have to go with the alligator, the fence vaulting alligator. I like to see an animal come out on top in Florida.
Also another vote for the alligator. I ask you, Albert, what was your favorite, please?
I will also. No, I like the Florida man doing the donuts at the intersection. It's just it's Florida. You know, you think of Florida, you think of guys doing pretty dumb stuff, and that was it.
The dumb quotient story is that one. I agree.
And he had the choreography down.
Yeah. I want to give it to the guy who fights off the bobcat to save his dog, but I can't. It's not a very Florida thing, although it is Florida because there is a bobcat involved. A lot of chases. I like that. That's very Florida, running from the cops in different ways. Yeah. It is true that the compound crime was the donut, smash the patrol car, and run. I mean, that's very Florida. That is the Florida hat trick. You know, that's the trio. So I'm going with that one, too. Yeah. But,
are you willing to bet your lunch?
That I do believe that it's likely that there was alcohol involved.
I'd be willing to bet my lunch that there's alcohol involved.
I mean, that's what animates so much of Florida. But very good. Well, in the chat, a lot of gators. A lot of gators. And
and I actually do have the poll up. The climbing gator is very much in the lead here.
No, climbing gator.
Only 3 minutes in. Only 3 minutes in, and the gator's winning.
I'll remind you, you can vote for your favorite or comment on any story or anything for that matter in the comment section. Yes, we're a live show, but the show obviously is watched in replay. And if you're watching us in replay, give us a thumbs up and comment on your own. And those comments, as I was mentioning, are reviewed throughout the weekend and beyond. It is always a pleasure to see the rough and ready, the handsome, the guy who made it out of Shawshank to a real job. Executive producer John Daly. So
get
fun
busy living or get busy dying.
Fun to be with you every Friday, pal.